The movie Bleed. Bleed is a horror movie. No, not a movie. I. This is going to be one of those that's difficult to explain because I don't know what happened in this quote movie. I don't. What happened? Well, I'll try to explain it as best I can. Somehow. This movie sucks. Spoiler alert. But if you're watching bad pregnancy movie reviews, you know. Well, where do I begin? Well, we won't spoil the ending just yet because I really want to talk about the ending. But I won't spoil it for you just yet. No. We're going to save that treat for last. Now, okay, here's how I think the movie went. And keep in mind, as I am recording this, I have just watched the film. And I don't know what happened in this movie. And not entirely. So here's how it goes. Okay, let's just begin. Let's just begin and get it over with. Here we go. Pregnant woman is on the screen. She's coming to this new town because her husband is there. They've moved to this place. Well, it's not a town. They're more like out in hillbilly land in the sticks. Countryside folk. She has a flat tire. She meets up with a bearded sheriff. He's the bearded sheriff that appears in a lot of bad B movies for some reason. I recognize his face. Anyway, she's got a flat tire. He changes the flat tire, and as he's leaving after changing the flat tire, he notices that the pregnant woman has a tattooed mark on her neck. A tattoo mark that was previously seen in another scene in the beginning of this movie that didn't make any sense either, so I won't discuss it. Needless to say, this is his reaction. Well, ma'am, I sure as shootin' don't know about that there tattoo. Folks might not take it rightly nicely, since we don't take kindly to them there tattoos in this here our town consisting of 2 buildings. Pregnant woman shrugs it off, meets up with her husband. They talk, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Friends come over, more blah 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 blah. Gonna have a home birth, blah 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 blah. But then more interesting things happen, like wonderful and endearing characters like her brother, who is a man in a van with a plan, and a hippie girlfriend, who are not annoying or disgusting at all. Basically, her brother is here to freeload off of her and her husband. They talk a little bit, then they all sit down to have a grill out. They're grilling hamburgers, and in the middle of this, the hippie girlfriend asks if she can use the bathroom to take a tub bath in the middle of the day at someone else's house with people that she has just met. I would say that that's kind of odd, but then again, she's one of these neo-hippies, so maybe that's what neo-hippies do. They take lots and lots of baths. Maybe they're very hygienic. I thought hippies were all about going natural, but anyway. Which brings us to this scene. And man, are you going to hear this scene a lot in this movie. Yes, it's one of those films that relies heavily on scaring people by having jump scares and loud noises that they think will frighten people. Instead, of course, it just annoys people. Anyway, after this, the husband comes in, knocks on the bathroom door, asks what's wrong because she screams. The hippie girl screams, and no, nothing, everything's fine. Just saw a demon ghost, the usual. Well, and his wife gets a little jealous for no reason. And then they sit down and they have a little talk, and basically this talk informs us that everybody in this film is going to die. Our child is wonderful, our child is going to live forever, and we are going to live forever, we are all going to live forever, happily ever after. And it's like, yeah, I know what's coming, everybody's going to die horribly. So at this point I was thinking, this movie better knock my socks off, because I'm not sure how much more I can stand. And it better knock my socks off, or I'm giving it a really bad score. Look what you're watching now. I think you know where we're heading. Anyway, let's see if we can't speed this up a little bit. During the course of all this boring exposition and bullcrap, the hippie brother decides that they should go check out a prison that is abandoned. And so, like idiots, everybody goes to the abandoned prison where obviously the devils and the ghosts haunt the place. Also, there's an occult that's loose in this town. Big surprise. They go to the abandoned prison where some bad things have happened, and the pregnant woman goes away trying to go back home. At least they didn't bring her with them, but unfortunately she has a car accident. The car tips over. However, she is fine and the baby is fine. So she goes to try and get a ride from one of the local Yahoo occult member policemen. It's not good, because the occult policeman tries to do bad things to her but fails. She gets away somehow and goes back to the abandoned prison where bad things are happening to all the other people and her husband, because they're in a haunted prison where said occultist did some bad things a long time ago and may have killed ghost demon man that was seen by the hippie woman in the bathtub, who was trying to do something evil, I don't know. Basically, there's a whole lot of running around, a whole lot of spooky things that happen. And then we get towards the end of the movie. Some people are dead, some people will die. But the pregnant woman is captured by the occultists. They want her baby. They don't want to kill her baby, but they want her baby. They perform their little ritual by pouring some kind of syrup. Yeah, that's it, syrup on her belly. And surprise, surprise, there's the emblem that was seen at the beginning of the film. Just as they were about to perform a cesarean, the pregnant woman's husband comes in from out of nowhere, cuts off the hand of the evil sheriff occult man, but then is stabbed to death by the other occult members. And also, ghost demon man comes out and kills said sheriff and other members of the occult because they betrayed him in the past and burned him alive. And you have to see this one scene, because this really sums up how much drama and how much invested the actors were in this movie. This one scene and the sheriff's emotional reaction to being burned alive by the evil ghost demon man really sums up how interesting this movie really is. You got to see this.
How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned?
Yeah, that was That was neat. That was terrific. This movie is officially the next Terminator 2 Judgment Day. It is just wonderful. By the way, that is the only bare belly scene in this entire movie. And it lasts for about 5 seconds in between cutting into black and out for no apparent reason other than to, I assume, spook the audience. I don't know. Anyway, let's bring this shit to a close. She gets away. Her husband is dead and everybody else is dead. Her brother is dead. The hippie girlfriend is dead. She finds some people. She flags them down. She is saved. But of course, these turn out to be occult members as well. And I am shocked. Anyway, the ending. She's giving birth somewhere. I guess they've taken her to a shack or a barn somewhere, someplace. She's giving birth to the baby. And she doesn't know that these two people are members of this weird occult. She has the baby, but the baby is not breathing. And all the occult members gather around and tell her that if she wants her baby to live, she must die willingly, to sacrifice her life for her child's. And the sheriff that was seen in the beginning of the movie is there, and he slits her throat because she says, "Yes, I want my baby to live. Take me." So yes, I know the ending of this movie, but I'm not quite sure. Because this movie, after this scene happens, ends. That's it. That's the end of the movie. I couldn't tell if the baby lived or died. I didn't know. So I went on to one of the forums on YouTube, and I was going to ask what happened at the end of this movie. It turns out people have already asked this question about the film's ending, and they don't know either. The major consensus amongst all 4 people who have watched this film is that the mother died, that's for sure, because her throat was slit, and you usually don't recover from your throat being slit, I think. But in this movie, who the heck knows? Anyway, she's dead, but the baby is alive, some people think. And anyway, how do I sum up how I feel about this movie? I don't have the energy, and I don't have the stamina to go on anymore about this movie. It's just bad, awful, terrible. The acting is bad. I can't tell what's happening and what's going on. And the pregnant character dies, and the baby does die, but comes back to life, maybe, if we're not sure. So bottom line, this movie, well, it
stinks. Wah, wah, wah.